Perfect. So we don't both go live.
Live. All right. There's Deandra.
Simmons on there?
Yeah.
You know, she's been on my show like
I
4
saw her.
times,
Yeah.
but I've never had her on the show.
Yeah. It was her and Kim.
I was live at the Lorenzo one time, and she was on my show then, just at the launch of the show.
Right.
But after that, I'm always out of town. I'm either Nashville or Los Angeles, one of the two.
Okay, so see our picture here?
Okay.
So you want to stay on this side of the mic.
Okay, gotcha.
You want to pull me towards me.
Okay.
That way we can see you. Because I want everybody to see your pretty face.
No, come on now. I'm getting old.
All right, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to Into the Rock Radio. Man, we have got a good show today. We have got a good one. I'm pumped about this.
Well, you're setting it up. I hope there's no disappointments here.
I am pumped. No, I'm pumped. This is going to be awesome because this is where it all started.
That's true. We're going to tell the story of how I met this guy.
Yes.
And how all of this, which I'm so impressed with what you got going on in here right now.
Fun, isn't it?
It's fun. It's such an accomplishment, and I think that you should be proud of yourself.
I'm pretty pumped. Pretty pumped. God's good, baby.
God is good.
Let me see here. We got a little science working here.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on in here right now. I'm trying to find the feed so I can share it.
So you want to go to Into the Rock Radio.
Okay.
And then you can just go right there and share it.
To the Rock. Rock. Facebook Live channel. Is that it? No.
Go Into the Rock Radio.
Okay.
There you go, right there.
We go.
And then go there and you share it to your timeline.
Nice. Go there. Let's share it on timeline. Go. Share. Share now. Cool.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Got a little delay. We got about a 3-minute delay for the satellite to boot up.
Oh, okay.
So,
I thought it was because of my language. Just kidding.
hello, everyone. What's up, Daniel? Hello, Melissa. So you'll be able to see how this goes. I appreciate everyone getting this shared out. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and see who's all going to be on here watching. Hello, Michelle. Michelle, can you share this out to all your groups? This is an animal right here. Michelle Martinez is a member of so many groups. And also, Michelle, in the comments, put the city and state that you're from. Everybody checking in, city and state. We got Brian Glenn from the Brian Glenn Show, business experts. So I need to be an expert.
You are an expert
in business, baby.
You're an expert in life.
Woo!
Come on now.
Oh, man. So, hello, Melissa. Love my sober family. Thank you, Michelle. Daniel Bueno, my celly. What's up with it? So we're going to get this going. We're going to tell the story of how all this started Into the Rock Radio. Thankful. Got Danny Campbell in the house.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's, you want to talk about a photographer that...
you do the number 2.
Okay, number
2 up
there
like
we
this.
Go.
You got to tell them what you're doing.
There you go. We are doing
this.
I'm talking.
You can't talk, Danny Campbell. Everybody say, there's Mama P. Hashtag Mama P in the house. Mama P's watching. We got Papa P in studio.
Oh, yes.
Papa P in studio, so go buy commodities in diesel. He's not mowing this week. so the diesel prices at an all-time low.
Yes, they are pretty low right
He
now,
has
aren't they?
mowed all of East Texas.
Well, gas is low. Diesel's low. It's going to get lower.
Diesel's up.
Oh, diesel's up because gas is low.
Natural gas is up.
Oh, natural gas is up. See, we got our... That's right. We don't need the Middle East. We can just check in with... Check in with him. He'll let us know what's going on.
That's right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We're on our delay. We're about to go live here. We got our own little theme song. Check out this theme song that we come out of the gate with. There's Paula saying hi to you.
Oh, there's Paula. Hello, Paula.
So here we go. Carter, Sea-Dog. I love the banner. What do y'all think about the banner? Give me a hashtag Carter. Sea-Dog in the house. 15-year-old video engineer running this thing.
He's 15 and 14 over here, running the show.
Running the show.
There's laws against that. You know, you know that, don't you? But you know what? They're doing a great job.
They're doing a great job.
They're smarter than both you and I to combine.
And the neat thing is they go back to school and tell all their friends about it.
I know, and they can make a ball out of a coconut.
Watch the show. That's right. Watch the show.
Love it.
There's Yvonne Crum. Yvonne Crum, Danny Campbell, watching the show. Awesome.
Bud.
All right. We should be going.
Michael, excuse me. John, move your head.
I love that.
John, move your hair.
I'm losing mine. I can tell you that right now.
All right, we should.
This is
Here we
Talk
are.
Radio 1190, Dallas Fort Worth.
Melissa, good
Place
job.
to
Congratulations.
Nice.
The views and
Wow, look at
opinions
that.
expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station or iHeartMedia.
Good job.
3 words, 8 letters, 1 meaning. Let's go.
Came a long way sitting in a prison, thinking it was the only place that ever fit in. Now Michael Molthan with us, and you know we got the vision. This is not a competition, man, it's all about the mission. This is M to the rock, you don't stop. The show start on the weekday, right at 7 o'clock. Mad Miles in the booth, we got Johnny on sound. Coach Julie, the boss lady, let them know what's going down.
This is M to the rock that don't stop. The show start on a weekday, right at 7 o'clock. Got the paparazzo, call him Danny Cambo. With the freaks, you can't pick every one of them is gold. Is there one young lady that wants you to be free? Everybody say it with me. Love you, Mama P.
That's right. Thank you, Mama P. Man, we're thankful for Mama P and
We
Papa
are.
P. So here we go. Y'all ready? Gather round, gather round, gather round. Michael Molthan, M2 The Rock Radio, coming to you live on a Thanksgiving Eve, Wednesday night. No Wiggin' Wednesday from Dallas, Texas. D-Town, baby. The 214. iHeartRadio.
I love it.
What do you think, Brian?
Man, I am just thrilled to be here because you've always been in my studio, and now I'm in your house right now.
And you know, it's just my mind is racing because I'm so excited about this. I kind of dreamed about this when we very first started having you here and getting it together. And just you weren't even on the books. And I was in your show yesterday, and another God deal. I said, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow night?" You said
That's it.
nothing. I said, "You want to be on the show?" He said, "Heck, I'll just after my show, I'll stop by."
I'll come by. I checked my social calendar, and obviously it was clear.
And we stroked the deal.
And we struck the deal.
It's a $26 million deal. Just
But
don't
that's
deposit
okay.
it.
We're paid in Bitcoin.
That's
so
right.
that, you'll get paid eventually.
Danny
Please
Campbell.
tell me you don't have any Bitcoin owners in here.
Actually, I don't even know what it is.
It's
Danny
$4,000 right
It-
now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe a Happy Meal on top of that.
That's
so.
right. So, welcome to the show. This show's brought to you by Fashion Stars for a Cause. Yvonne Crum, who's actually watching the show.
Nice.
Fashion Stars for a Cause is an organization that raises money for the Suicide Crisis Center of North Texas.
Oh.
So we talk about, Brian, on the show, drug addiction. We talk about alcoholism. We talk about hurts, habits, hang-ups. We talk a lot of hope. And what I do today is my primary purpose in life when I wake up in the morning is to serve Him, serve Christ,
Amen.
and to love everyone. That's it. It's that simple. Just do those two things and just be available for the one who is still suffering from addiction. It could be drugs or alcohol. It could be sex, pornography, gambling, work, exercise, eating, smoking.
Right, we
You
talked
know,
about that
we talked
yesterday.
about that yesterday, and all these different things. And the producer of the show, which I'm excited, longtime radio guy, Daniel Miles, a.k.a. Miles.
Hello, and hi, Brian.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you on the other side of the,
That's it, man.
the aquarium.
There you go.
These guys, oh, that's a good way. See, I used to talk behind the glass, but it's a whole different situation. You know, I was talking to attorneys, and
You had a little phone.
You had a phone, didn't
You had a phone.
no, it was actually it was a little slide deal underneath, and it had the little
Oh, kind of like a bank teller.
Like bank
yeah,
teller.
bank teller. And I talked to him. I said, "Get me out."
Would you slide notes that said, "Get me out"?
No, I had to sign stuff. Guilty.
Wow.
Guilty, and sign that.
Well, we're glad that this is a different kind of
This
glass.
is
here
a
today.
different glass, and guess what? I get to go home. The door swings both
Amen to
ways.
that. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but I wanted to keep y'all separated, you and Miles, for a reason, because on today's show we're going to tell Miles the story of how we met and how all this came together.
Yeah.
You touched on it a little bit last time, but I was like, no. Stop right there, because I want to hear the whole story.
That's right. So, welcome to the show, Brian Glenn. Before DFW Coin and Jewelry, that's DFW Coin and Jewelry. It's got me iced out, and I just
Yeah.
love this stuff,
I,
man.
well, I could go some shopping. on
We
that.
could do some shopping with
I
this.
think I
with
will.
this
Is there a
watch.
website for that?
DFW Coin and Jewelry. Kristen Oyster, what a
Right.
great supporter of the show since day one.
I love that. We talked before the show how important it is to have sponsors.
It is.
So God bless all those sponsors. involved.
Absolutely. So Brian Glenn, the Brian Glenn Show. Who are you? What's your show about?
my
And what do you
goodness.
do? Then we'll get into our story.
Yeah, well, I've been in television since 1988. I mean,
Wow.
Merv Griffin gave me my first actual job.
Is
if
that
you believe it
right?
or not? I had to dress up like a peacock. I was at a NBC station, and it was the most humiliating thing in the world. Thank God that station burned down to the ground, so there's no proof of any of that. But just
Merv Griffin.
Merv Griffin, yeah,
I did not
Wheel
know
of
that.
Fortune, all those game shows.
Yeah.
Did that, and so
Seinfeld fame.
what's that?
Seinfeld fame.
Absolutely, everything. But came to Dallas, worked for Channel 8 for a number of years as a morning show reporter, and that was fun, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's nothing says...
Right. I remember that.
Nothing says good morning than waking up that early. And then transitioned out of news and got with, had my own little radio show on the Salem Radio Networks and right here in Dallas. And
Right.
talk about business, we talk about life. I say it's about pop culture to politics and from Wall Street to Main Street America. It's a little bit of everything. So when your story, and this is interesting how we met, is I had Kim Francis filling in for me.
Right.
And maybe I want to let you tell that story.
Right.
But that's kind of what I do here in Dallas, and I enjoy it. I meet a lot of people in our community and around the country in business, in politics, a lot of music as well.
Right.
So it's just, if GQ, Sports Illustrated, and Rolling Stone had a radio show, that's pretty much mine.
Yeah, there you go.
If you want to just wrap it up in a nutshell.
That's cool. That's a good way to look at it. So you got some interesting guests, and you've been doing this a long time, and so that kind of leads in, Miles, on how all this got started. And it's amazing because we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary.
1 year.
Yeah, so December 29th will be our 1 year anniversary of our very first show, which was absolutely amazing. So, this time last year, I was unemployed, obviously, homeless.
See, that's what's...
Homeless. I didn't have any money in my pocket, and the money that I did have in my pocket was somebody give me $10 here, $20 there, and I was literally walking every single day to my support group meeting, okay, 12-step recovery group meeting every day.
Literally, the 12 steps was more like 12,000 steps.
Right,
for you.
right. And so when I got released, so let's really start back from the beginning. So on October 13th, Friday the 13th, 2017, in jail, in prison, nothing happens. Nothing happens on Fridays. Nobody moves around. Nothing happens. They just get ready. The week's over. They keep everybody calm. They don't want to move people around. It's almost like cattle. You don't want to stir the hornet's nest. Let's
Okay.
get through the weekend, all right? And so Friday morning, they come over the intercom. They say, Michael Molthan, bunk and junk. Get your bunk. Get all your junk.
Bunk and junk.
Bunk and junk. In fact, that might be the name of the book. Papa P and I were talking about that. That might be the name of the book, Bunk and Junk. And everybody's looking. Everybody's jumping around. Everybody's coming into my tank and looking at me going Rabbit, because everybody called me Rabbit.
Rabbit.
That was my jail name, Rabbit.
Does everyone get a nickname in jail?
Everybody gets a nickname.
Okay. What do you think mine would be if I was in jail?
Yours would be Coolio.
I like that. I'll take that.
We'll go with Coolio. We'll go with Coolio. But and then so they call me Rabbit because I moved around a lot. I got a lot of energy. In fact, it's so hard. I don't know how you do a 2-hour show. I do a 1-hour show, and that's why I'm doing this all the time because I had to sit. But I was set free, and they had to literally kick me out of the institution. I said, "Here's my papers," and they didn't know because I had a number, I had a destination. I was going to prison. Right. It was done deal.
You were done.
Done. I mean, it's file 13. I mean, my name to pop up. There's no trigger. There's nothing that can be an accident. It's never happened before, ever. Okay, so they let me go, and I travel from Bell County over 300 miles.
That's a long way.
Yeah, and get released and go see Judge Bennett, and she sets me free. She says there's someone bigger than me working your life, and she's known me since 2012. I've been just a riffraff in and out, in and out, in and out. And she says, I've heard what you've been doing in behind the walls. And there's someone a lot bigger working in your life than me, and I'm not going to get in the way. And she tore my papers up, and she said, let's go pay it forward. And I want you to come back Wednesday. This is on Monday. So 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th is the Monday, all right? I come back Wednesday with a self-correct program, and I leave there and go to the Salvation Army, walking. I go to the Salvation Army. I'm sleeping on the floor, as grateful, Brian, as I can be. I feel like I'm in the Ritz-Carlton. I'm as happy as I can be because I'm free. because I surrendered in
Because
this
in your
time.
mind, you were locked up for a long time.
My whole life.
Yeah.
You know, money, nice houses, everything, had everything you could imagine, but I was in prison. I was so miserable. And when I surrendered and gave my life to Christ and had this awakening, I was so free. So I'm laying on this concrete floor at the Salvation Army, and I pick up the phone and I call somebody and I say, listen, I need to go. I'm gonna go see my dad. And so I walk from there and I go see my dad, and I'm talking to him, and my dad's name is the same as mine. Okay, my dad's name is the exact same as mine, and he says, you know, I keep getting a call from this lady from the Brian Glenn show. All right, and they want you to call in. They want to do a radio show with you, and I'm like, why? I don't understand. And so I looked up I'm on his phone, and I Google on his phone your show, and it's experts in business and real, you know. And I said, well, maybe he wants to talk about real estate and home building, and I saw it as an opportunity just to talk to someone to possibly get a job. Nothing in my I got clothes from Salvation Army I was wearing. So when we come back, we're going to get back into this, Brian, and get to the high point of this and talk more about this. Michael Molthan, Into the Rock Radio, in studio, Brian Glenn.
Yes.
My brother.
That's it. By the way, I've got no audio in here, just by the way.
Oh, just turn your volume here.
How 4 preteens help raise
Sorry,
enough
turn this
money
up right
to
here.
feed 500
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I just didn't
You
want
good there?
Perfect.
Very good.
Perfect. I just
So you actually heard Daniel Miles through that?
Yeah,
Did we
I
turn
heard
that
it
up
through
through
the.
the show?
That's
Okay, so
fine.
we're good.
I didn't want to like stop in the middle of the show.
Okay. Everybody, what's going on, everybody? Let's make
Yep.
sure. Let's do shout outs. So we got,
Shout-outs. Who
all right,
got?
we got Carrie Cross, we got Melissa, Love Mouse, we got Paula Holman, and Nika
Yes.
Cooper watching. Nika
Nika.
Cooper here in Dallas, who's
Yeah, yeah.
she's on the show once a month.
Yeah, I think I've.
She
friends with her
owns
already.
Simply Grace. She owns
Yes.
Recovery
Yes.
Homes.
It's America's top buyer and seller of rare coins. They're located in Dallas.
Well, next time I have a shoot in California, I'm taking you, man. Fly out there and shoot
Take your
some stuff.
headset on. Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
He's the best. Danny
good.
Campbell's the best. All right, here's Allie. Danny, we got Allie in here.
Come on, Allie.
Yeah. And she's on Facebook Live too. That's what's up.
Oh my goodness, look at that, look at that. Hold on,
There's nothing like
Awesome.
What about your brother? You don't want to.
We're giving. He's got to work that camera. He's at work.
I think it's awesome what they do.
Isn't this
I
great?
know. I think it's
Isn't this
awesome.
great?
I
So,
think it gives them great.
There you
Yeah, there you go. Let me just make sure.
Well, it's good to get into the high schools. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Suzanne McCafferty from Real News Network. Jeff Crowley.
What?
Suzanne.
Yes, Suzanne. Yes.
Carrie, she's watching. So everybody, Nick, how are you doing? C2 loves M2. I love you too, Carrie Cross.
Julie Jackson.
Julia, that's a stalker right there.
Oh yeah.
Kat, hey Michael, do we know how Pam is doing? Pam's doing good. She just celebrated a belly button birthday. Catherine's out in Arizona. She is the author writing the book for Vance Johnson, the Denver Bronco wide
Oh, yeah,
receiver,
yeah,
who's in
yeah.
recovery.
Oh,
So
wow.
Kat is out in Arizona. So you just, and we put the links here, and this thing will really get going. But there's times.
Awesome.
What's up, Higgy? Good to see you, Higgy. Melissa, 63 days clean today. That's what's up, Melissa.
Yeah,
Praise
amazing.
God.
Amazing.
All right. Drew Hicks, how you doing, Drew? There's old John Holman, Papa P. I see you. I see you. He's right here. Mama P, he's here.
He's here.
He's here. One day on the show, I'm going to tell the famous ice cream story. Go get some ice cream. Mama P said, Papa P, go get some ice cream. It's like 5 o'clock at night. He got home at 3 in the morning.
Come back with ice cream? Things happen.
No, it's not easy dealing with a
I
loved
agree.
one who drinks too
I
much,
agree.
but there's
Things
hope
happen.
and hope at Al-Anon Family Group.
Hey, Danny, will you hit that air down just a little bit? So the,
Yeah.
all the way. Slam it at the bottom. All the way. Thank you.
666.
All right, here we go.
Don't forget M2 The Rock Radio fans. Michael now has
Can you hear?
new hours, Monday through Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturdays from noon to 1 p.m. on Talk Radio 1190.
That's right, that's right. Michael Molthan, Into the Rock Radio. Welcome back. Thanksgiving Eve. Wow. Where did this year go, Brian?
Where did 2018 go?
Man,
let's just be honest. In another couple of weeks, it's Christmas and.
This morning when I woke up, I literally said that. When I was saying my prayers, I asked God for the world to slow down. It's really been going fast for me. This last week. Prison thing slows down a little bit. When you're incarcerated, time kind of crawls.
I can imagine that.
It does, man. But sometimes it goes by fast. And the
you
way
should write a book about that.
We are going to do it. Bunk and junk. So anyways, back to the story. In studio, if you're just joining us, we've got Brian Glenn for Brian Glenn Show. What is the actual name of your radio show?
It's called In the Know with Brian Glenn.
Okay, In the Know with Brian Glenn.
And I ripped off a TV show I used to have called In the Know with Brian Glenn. So I'm trying to be real original here.
All right.
So
what are you doing now? I see you all over. We'll get back to my story, but look, back to you. You're jumping around. You got the radio show.
I got the radio show. I got a new television show starting. It'll be based out of Waco at a Fox station down there. It's going to be kind of a fun.
I was in jail in Waco.
Well,
I did jail there too.
We should come up. I need to have you on there.
I would love to do that.
I think we just booked our
Let's
first
do
segment.
that.
You
There
know
we
what's
go.
kind of funny about that?
What?
Oh, Waco, yeah. You go to that Mexican restaurant down the road. Some people will go, oh, do you go to this place? Michael goes, oh, I've been to that jail.
I have. I mean, I've been to jail there.
Can you check in on Facebook
Great
at the jail?
conversational piece.
All up down Interstate 35 and all up. You can see my disease as it got worse.
And there's a lot of construction up that 35, so it's hard to walk those orange barrels. You had a rough walk there.
That was a rough walk.
It's a
rough walk. And so you're doing TV.
TV, a little bit video production. We have a content creation company. My partner and I.
Tell me about that. That's a really cool deal.
You know what? I teamed up with Janelle Page Brandom, who is formerly of Channel 8 as well. And
She's got to meet Danny Campbell. She is a perfect person to photo.
Your camera will appreciate that.
Yes.
We've come together and we've created a content creation company where we go to businesses and we produce content for their social media pages.
Brilliant.
We got a big client right now on the West Coast that we've been working with. So it's fun. I enjoy it. It kind of lets me be creative with my video stuff. And I've always said this. I'm an idea guy, period. I could come up with some of the best ideas. And I just need people to put those in place a lot of times.
Right.
And so I surround myself with people like Janelle that are highly organized and highly structured.
Right.
And I just do what I'm told.
That's awesome. That's good. Just throw it up there and put it. And I do the same thing. I mean, I got great people
You need people around you.
Yeah, so I can stay, highly. Julie, that's Julie. I just throw it to her and I say book it. And when people call, just call Julie and she puts it in the calendar. And all I do is look at my phone where I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So anyways, we were talking. If you're joining us, Brian Glenn, the Brian Glenn Show is a radio show that was just doing their job, trying to get another guest on the show, and they're like, where is this well-known high-end luxury home builder?
Right.
Let's get him on the show.
Where's this Michael Molthan guy?
Where's he been? I mean, he did stuff at the Ritz-Carlton. He did stuff in the Park Cities. He built these monster houses, and he just fell off the map. I mean, just absolutely disappeared. And so my dad said, this Kim Francis lady called. So I called, and I said, hey, this is Michael Molthan. She goes, oh, yeah. Hey, do you mind jumping on the radio with us this afternoon? And she was like, so...
Because it was the same... She was booking for the same day. It wasn't even like a next...
No, it was that day because y'all needed a spot because you were doing a celebrity charity deal at the Veterian in Carrollton.
Gotcha.
Okay, in Farmers Branch.
Right.
And so she goes, we'd like to have you on to talk about real estate and all this stuff. And I said, well, I'm not building homes anymore. She goes, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I'm really involved in recovery. I mean, I lost my business because of drug addiction and alcoholism. She's like, wow, okay. Well, do you want to talk about that? And I said, we can talk about it a little. I mean, I can talk real estate. I'd love to because I need a job, And so she's like, okay. So just hang on. I'll call you back at this number. So she calls me back. And as we start the show, I tell her, and a lot of people who've been following me, I tell this story of what it was like and what it was like today, and this whole story of how I've been arrested 27 times, 27 mugshots from 2012 until now, and done, spent 4 out of the last 6 years incarcerated, lost every dollar to my name, lost my family, lost everything in my life as a result of drugs and alcohol. And I share this entire story, and Kim goes, okay, this makes perfect sense. Okay,
Scratch the real estate.
Now, keep in mind, this is
In
Thursday.
other words, it wasn't. Oh, that's interesting, Michael. So, do you think the real estate market will be like Phoenix in the next couple of years?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. So I'm telling this long story of how, I mean, this Forrest Gump story. That's what Papa P always says. When
It
you,
can't be true.
she's like,
It
listen,
can't be true. It has to be
well, she's engaged.
exaggerated.
Of course, we're going to commercial break. She was going to have me on for one segment. Okay, I was on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. And so as I'm telling this story, okay, oh, he snorted. I know I'm doing good when he snorts. I know I'm doing good when he snorts. So anyways, I tell this story, and so remember, I'm back in here. Friday, I'm released, miraculously released. I go in front of Judge Jennifer Bennett to turn myself in to go back to prison because there's been a technicality.
Yeah.
Going back to prison.
Surely this is a mistake.
It's a mistake. Let me go do my time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm prepared for it, and what I'm dreading the most, okay, is getting rebooked in, going through the whole process of being booked in. All right.
So this is going through your mind.
That's all I'm worried about. Okay. So, anyways, that's Wednesday. I go back. She tears my papers up. Thursday, I'm just going to go see my dad, and I'm trying to process where I'm going to live. I'm homeless. I don't know how to live homeless. This is a guy that lived in the Park Cities. I lived in Preston Hollow. I built $5-10 million homes, and now I'm homeless. And I'm like about to Google, how do homeless people live? I mean, I don't know how to do this. You know, I'm just
Siri,
so confused.
How do homeless people live?
Yes.
She's not even answering. She don't
Okay.
even know. She don't even know.
So,
The addresses of 10 cities.
right. So anyways, I'm telling that, and so keep in mind, this is Wednesday. So Thursday, I'm on the radio show, and so poor Kim Francis, she goes, oh, okay, so this makes sense. What year was this when all this happened? I said, Kim, this was Friday. It hasn't even been a week. I haven't been out of jail, and I'm
Would have
talking
loved
to
to have seen her face. At
Oh
that
yeah,
point.
it's I'm in my dad's driveway in Salvation Army clothes on his phone, talking to you about this, and she's like, "You've got to go share your story." And then that's when that was Thursday. On Monday, I walked up here to iHeart to meet iHeart to talk about doing a show on a Saturday, and here we are.
Here we are. Man.
Here we are. We're on 9 times a week. We're live Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 live. We're one of the most followed, radio shows, recovery radio shows in the country. And we're one of the most viewed radio shows on social media in the country. And and then we did 5 shows, and I didn't have any money. I mean, I had people from basically my support group meeting, Brian, that were feeding me money to do this, okay? And the very first show, our guest was Brian Cuban. And that's the day I met Danny Campbell. Danny Campbell came and photoed the show. Never met him in my entire life, Danny Campbell. And that's a friendship that has been created since that day. That is, Danny Campbell's probably one of my best friends to this day.
Well, I will say this. As you say that, the first thing that came to my mind is everyone in here already is a friend of mine now. Because we've all got a common bond.
Right.
It's you.
Right.
It's how you're helping people and bringing everyone together. And so I literally, just everybody in here already, I feel a special place.
And that's what's amazing, Brian. Because
I try to knock them down a little bit.
well, and that's where it comes in, because when I did the very first show, I sat in the studio with Miles over here, and we're talking, and I was like, I like radio. I've always listened. I'm a Ticket head. I used to listen to the Ticket all the time.
So do I.
And I think Gordon Keith is a genius. Gordon Keith is one of my favorite people on radio. And I love Mike Reiner and listen to those guys.
Religiously listen to the
and so I love those guys, because I want to be that guy that can paint the picture with my voice, that people in the car can hear it and they can visualize what I'm saying.
Correct.
And that's what those guys are so good at doing. And Miles was so great because he's kept me humble. He says, listen, less is more. Okay. Just focus on your message. Just come here every time in the studio and sit here. And he didn't realize my story, because I would show up 3 hours early for a show because I had to catch the bus.
Oh.
I had to catch this one bus to make it. If I caught the second bus, I'd be late for the show.
I just thought he was dedicated.
Well,
I was that too. That is
Show prep
dedicated.
was
Well,
done.
you had to be dedicated to what,
Right. So,
Ted
but
Miles.
it's neat. Everybody, Brian, in this studio is placed by God. John and Julie, okay? I've known them being in the program in recovery. They were always there for me every time I would come back in trying to get clean and sober. And then the magical day when I was walking in the rain, in the cold, doing a Facebook Live on my dad's phone, okay, walking to probation to go give a UA and check in. And I said, we're not going to be able to do the show anymore because it was taking off really quick because I don't have the funds to do it. And that's when I got the famous message from Mama P that I had lunch with that day. And she said, you know, as long as I'm breathing, you're going to be on the air.
Wow.
And I was living in a sober living house at the time that people in the program of recovery put me in. They were paying for it. That's what we do. We pull together and help one another. And they put me in this sober living house. They were paying for it. I was following my feet. All I was doing, Brian, was showing up for recovery meetings. That's all I did, was show up. I just showed up and everything was following right in place. And it all started with the Brian Glenn Show. It
Well,
all started. God used you to make that phone call.
I'm very humbled and honored, and yeah.
A business show.
I mean, a business show that really, from day one, when I was approached to do that show, I wasn't sure that I wanted to do it. And so I'll go back to, there's a friend of mine, A.D. Roundtree. He works for 94.5 The Buzz in Houston, and he's a program director in San Diego at an active rock station. I called him and said, hey, I was approached to do this radio show. He goes, well, what is it? It's a talk show. But I don't know if I, what do you think? He goes, are you crazy? He goes, talk radio is right up your alley.
Yeah, it is.
So I always go back for him. If he wouldn't have talked me into doing it.
Come on.
And I'll go back to Jeff Crilly.
Come on.
Because he's the one that introduced all of this to me in the possibility.
Michael Molthan, M2 The Rock
That's it.
Radio. We're getting spiritual. We're watching God at Work. M2 The Rock Radio. Be right back.
Isn't that amazing?
What's that?
It's Jeff Crilly.
Jeff
He's
Crilly.
the one that said, hey, there's a station that's looking for a morning guy. Because before it was in the mornings. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's me. He goes, I consider it. So I spoke with him. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if it's me. And I called AD. And I'll tell you exactly what he said. Well, I know what Facebook was. But he goes, I would give my left testicle to have a talk show. And I go, all right, well, save my left one and I'll go ahead and do it. And so that's, I just 3 years, I think this past August, so that I've had it. And it's like, it's just so, I love it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't miss, I miss television, a little production, but now that I do that, it's like that fulfills me creative. Like if you stop taking pictures, you'd be like, damn, I like taking pictures, you know? But yeah, so that's always people are placed for a reason.
It is. And I see, and that's what's so neat about. Following Christ, awareness, being aware, and seeing all the moving parts around us happen.
Here's the deal: people need to tune in their frequency to receive His word.
Yeah.
If you're not tuned in, looking for His word, you're not going to receive it.
Hold on to that thought.
I mean,
We
because
come
I
back
seriously
over it.
believe that it's all about finding frequency.
Yes.
And that's why the more you get into the word, the more that you seek Him, the more you receive Him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the more I study it, the more it talks to me.
Absolutely.
You know, the Bible doesn't talk to me if I leave it shut. It's that simple. So.
And you know, what's funny is I get these Bible updates on my phone. Matter of fact, here's one right here. Get closer to God little by little. Come and read devotions day by day. I tell myself, as much as I spend time on Instagram and Facebook and all this other social media stuff, if I can't spend 30 seconds to read a devotion every day.
Come on, Brian Glenn.
This time last year, you know where I was at? Uganda, Africa, sleeping on I was literally in the middle of nowhere doing mission work. And the woman I met there, Lisa Campanelli, who we're friends on Facebook, I should tag her right now.
Yeah.
She sends me a Bible verse every single morning. She's done it for a year.
What's
a
that?
year.
What app is that?
Every single morning. This is the Bible app, but she literally sends me one separately every single day. And I heart it every single day to let her know that I mean,
That's awesome.
you got to get into the Word. Yeah, I mean, you know, and If you're not in the Word, you can't receive the message.
That's exactly right.
Jeff Crilly.
Jeff Crilly,
Oh, you tagged him.
just tagged him.
You tagged him.
Yeah, Jeff Crilly. I was with him yesterday.
Angela Dodson, how are you?
Angela Dotson, yes.
How are you?
Good to see you. God is good.
God is good.
God is good all the time. Mama P's crying. There's Yvonne Crum. You know Yvonne Crum, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah, she's right. Yeah.
Yep. And Danny
Well-
Campbell connected me to
Radio
Yvonne
fans,
Crum.
Michael now
Oh, really?
has hours Monday through Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
There
and
we go.
Saturdays from noon to 1 p.m. on Talk Radio 1190.
I like this one.
All right. Who is this? No, Miles is the best.
Miles is good.
He is the absolute best. Michael Molthan, Into the Rock Radio, with in-studio guest Brian Glenn, for In the Know with Brian Glenn.
Thank you very much.
And long time radio, long time TV, and I've known of you, known your name for a long time. You know, even when I was building houses, and we've just crossed paths. But it's amazing that it took 27 arrests to get to meet you.
I'm
finally.
still working on my first one, so, you know.
I can teach you. And I can teach you how to get out too.
You know, Brian, I told, he's been doing this for, has it been a year yet? What is your
The
year?
29th. The 29th of
okay.
December.
And, he's a natural. My question to you is, did you have growing pains going from TV to
Ooh.
radio?
That is a great question.
Because
And I'll
everybody
answer
thinks
it.
it's easy.
Yes, it was horrible. I was in the morning from 7 to 9 originally. And what would happen is if I had my guests lined up, and all of a sudden I'd get that phone call at 6:20 that said, oh my God, real quickly, my son's got the whatever, I can't make it. I would be so scared because to fill 2 hours of talk,
Get those tap shoes on.
get those tap shoes on. Now thank God, because live television really allows you to perfect that skill, obviously. But it was hard going into it. Now,
Piece of cake.
Got this. Absolutely
I've got my
got this.
topics that I'm going to talk about. And then, with politics, I talk a lot about politics. I can just go. I can just let the gates open, the dogs run, and it's off. But the great question. It took me a while to get used to it. I don't know. You are a natural.
Oh, thank you. I just, it's passion. I'm passionate about it.
That's what it
And,
is. See, that's what it is.
That's
You're
the
passionate
passion, and it's my routine. I mean, before every show, I go in that bathroom, I close the stall, and I invite God. I say, God, please put the words in
You
my
find a
mouth.
better place.
I was
for it.
just going to say, when you said you go in that
I
bathroom,
do. I gotta have something that is. I just gotta.
no
get
one's
alone.
going to bother you there.
I know. I just got to be
That's the
alone.
key.
I just got to go. And I'll give a shout out to my man Bill Lafferty. He taught me that. He says, go in there and go in the bathroom. No one can bother you there.
I
And
listen to
that's-
music before the show.
That's it. And that too. And
You might hear me go, oh, God!
but you know one thing is when I was
TMI?
when I that is TMI. Well, when I was on your show, Brian, the very first time that I came in, Mama P and I came in, and we were the guest on your show.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what I was walking into, but I was so excited because when I heard Salem Communications, and I didn't know what I was getting into.
Did you Google them?
And I didn't. But I knew you were involved, so I was like, and it was a last minute deal. Come on, left hand turn, woo! And so
That's life, though, isn't it?
But when I pulled in, yes, it is. When I pulled in and I saw KLTY and all this stuff, I'm going, oh, this is cool. I felt like I was walking into like Billy Graham campus of radio.
Well, it is.
It's like-
in a way.
it's just such a-
that is the #1 Christian radio station in the entire country.
Wow.
But I'll give a great story real quickly. When we were on the morning show, I showed up to the station. I usually got there about 5:30. Show went on at 7. I pull up and there's tour buses parked in the back,
Yeah.
big ones. I mean, not just little. The 3 guys down the street.
Talking Aerosmith
They're
now.
talking big. And so I walked in and I said, "Well, my goodness, who's here?" He said, "That's Hillsong United." I said, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he goes, "You really don't know who Hillsong is?" I go, "I don't know." So I Googled them. Oh, they're like the biggest Christian band in the world. So that station gets the best of the best of
Yes.
the best. So it's very Christ centered. Everything in the
Right.
Word. I have a show that airs on the Word,
Right.
once a week. It's called Believers in Business.
Ooh,
It's
that's
about
good.
people. It's about people in business that are believers.
Right.
And so it's a great. So what you felt was the presence of God.
It
without a
was.
doubt.
And what was cool is when we talked about it, because I always say this on the show, when I open the show up, I say, we provide spiritual solutions for human problems. And guess what? We talk that G thing. And on this show, we talk about God, and we talk about Jesus Christ. And whoa, if you just heard, ride with us for an hour. Let us make it. Because like we talked about yesterday, my goal is to get people to believe in Jesus Christ where I don't even have to say his name.
And I find myself on social media, and I probably shouldn't say this, but when I see people get spiritual about the butterflies and the rainbows and all this stuff, and they do it without naming God and without naming Jesus.
Right.
I make it a point to DM them and say, let's give glory to who glory deserves to be given.
Come
and
on.
that is to him.
Come on.
And don't dance around, because it becomes, I guess, people are looking for social media brownie points by trying to stay politically correct and not naming the source and the creator of heaven and earth. And that's God. That's Jesus Christ. He sent his only son to die for our sins. And people who don't recognize that on social media, of fear of getting retaliation from other non-believers,
Come on, man.
it ain't going to happen with me.
It's like holidays or Christmas.
Yeah.
You can't say Christmas now.
I
I don't understand that when you're in school. When we were kids, I mean,
Yeah.
of course everything was Christmas
it was
break. Now
absolutely.
it's holiday break.
It's holiday break. And it's,
Well, just driving in here, as you see my guests, we got, Carter and Allie here, and Carter's working the video, and that's the neat thing is I want kids to be involved in this show because that's our future, and they're sitting
now
here.
they're just better than us.
And
they are far smarter than we are.
Yes, they are.
I will acknowledge that right now.
Okay, listen, I want to address this. I want to address this because I was talking to my mom because I have a nephew that goes to St. Mark's in Dallas, okay? And she kept talking about how smart the kids are. Let me tell you something. I'm going to lob this out there. I want spiritual kids, okay? We can be too educated, and they were talking to me about their science teacher and all this stuff, the Big Bang Theory.
Well, you've got academia out there,
There you
and I don't
go.
want to get on a soapbox here,
Right.
but you got academia out there telling you. See, this is what boy, you
Do it. Come on.
See, this is what happens. See, this is what happens. You spend as parents. I got 3 kids. I got one that's going to seminary school.
Breathe,
Okay.
breathe.
Okay. Check my pulse
All right,
here.
all right.
This is what happens. You spend your entire life raising kids to know what's right, what's wrong, good, evil, right?
Right.
All the things that, from a biblical standpoint.
Right.
You send them off to college so that they can break down everything you've built in your kids for the last 18 years.
Right.
To question everything that's been told to them that is gospel. So you give me one reason why I want to send my kid to University of Texas, Michigan, California, Florida, name the university. Other than Baylor, TCU, the ones that are biblical.
Right.
But that's my point. Society, academia is it's destroying the moral fabric of our kids. Not only now you don't. If you're patriotic, you're criticized for being insensitive. Mm-hmm. If I'm a heterosexual male, if I identify as a male and you identify as a female, that's even questioned.
Come on.
We have lost our mind as a country. And now we are seeing a reversal in all of this.
Yeah. As a result of what?
Well, I'm going to say it's to start with our president. And I'm not the biggest fan of him personally, okay? He's a doctor that walks in your room and says, you got cancer, or you got whatever, you're fat, you're overweight, you need to stop smoking, stop drinking, you're going to die in 5 months, and walks out. And you go, whoa, wait a minute, where's my bedside manner? That's him.
Right.
But he's a solutions guy.
Yeah, he is.
But we have got to get to the point, we've got to put God back in our lives. We've got to use some common sense. And we've got to get back to having a moral compass. Let me tell you something. There's no other country in this entire world that was founded on Judeo-Christian values. Not one. Mm-hmm. Go look at Europe. It is a dumpster fire. Mm-hmm. They have no guidance. Our laws in our country is built on Judeo-Christian values. What is right? What is from the Bible?
Right.
It's on our money.
Right.
There's not a single country in the world that's like that.
Right.
And that's why they have so many problems. And it's very important that we stay the course and keep God in our lives, or we're going to end up like Germany, France, name a country in Europe. We don't see that on the news. I'm done.
No, you're exactly right. So on this show, what's the solution? Okay, and I talked about this the other day. You know where the solution starts? The dinner table, like we talked on your show. Let's go, man. It's time for men to man up and start being fathers of the household. Okay, be the spiritual leader of the household.
Michael, that doesn't work. I've got practice. Junior's got practice. Little Jane has choir.
It's tough.
Soccer practice, choir, and then mom or dad has something else going on. So
you know what that is? That's the enemy coming in, keeping us busy.
Yeah, but
it's keeping us busy.
He's got a point. It has changed a little bit. I've had therapists tell me that it's more important to have those little one-on-ones. If we just all get together around a table and there's no quality time with that, that's less important than having a couple minutes with you, Michael. How are you doing?
Right.
How's your day going? So we need to get back to that. I tell you what's our problem in society. It's these phones.
Right.
I mean, God bless social media right now because we're reaching all these people. But it is a distraction. It's the phones. It's just we've taken our mind off each other in relationships. Mm-hmm. We place so much value in stuff that does not matter at all.
100% of my cellies, my cellmates that I lived with, I did time with, being incarcerated, had little or no relationship with their father. Okay? The more and more we pull God out of the schools, okay, keep God out of the schools, Brian, we fill that vacuum with chaos. There's going to be more shootings. There's going to be, until we get God back into the schools, that's what happens. And it starts at the home. Michael Molthan, Into the Rock Radio. Dallas Fire Department's on the way to put Brian Glenn out, baby. We've got one more segment, and we ain't done.
It's crazy. It's just absolutely nuts. And that is the single biggest reason what we can do is keep God in our life in our schools.
Well,
it has nothing to do with politics.
Right.
It really doesn't.
No.
It's just...
God's bigger than politics. So when we come back to the next segment, I'm going to tell you something about the Bible. Remind me, because I always forget.
I told myself this past year that I was going to be less concerned about your political affiliation than your salvation. I want your salvation. That's more important to me than if you're a liberal or a Democrat, left, right, conservative. It doesn't really matter. It's like, do you have a relationship with God? That's the biggest.
And then everything starts falling in place.
Everything will fall in place.
My life.
But I think until you name him, see, people don't name him because they're afraid that people on social media go, oh, he's a Jesus freak, or oh, he's a Bible thumper.
Right, tell everybody I am.
That's it.
Go tell everybody.
That's it, but that's the problem people have until they get out of that shell and realize that it's okay.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, well, my son, I've seen what my son has done to his youth group, and he's brought literally hundreds of people to Christ in middle school and high school.
But everybody's got a role in their ministry, you know. Not everybody is like you and me, and outspoken, charismatic.
Everyone has spiritual
Everybody's
gifts.
got to know what their spiritual gift
That's
is
it.
and use it. You know, well, I'm an introvert. I can never be like M2 and Brian. You're right. You don't want to, so don't try to do that. Don't misdiagnose yourself. But you can also give someone a really good listening to.
Yeah.
You can sit there and listen to someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is great, Brian.
That's great.
This is awesome.
Well, I certainly absolutely appreciate this opportunity. Like I said, whatever I can do for you or anybody listening, or your sponsors, I tell you what, your sponsors that come out of this, send them my way.
All right.
I talk about their business. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I mean, why not? Talk about the business.
Yeah.
That's a great question he had earlier about the first couple days.
The learning curve.
You start talking for 2 hours by yourself. I listened to probably 6 or 7 hours of talk radio a day when I started because I needed to hear how the Mark Davises of the world, which he is a big.
He's helped me out a lot.
You know, I couldn't stand Sean Hannity at all, but I listened to him.
Yeah.
I tell you the best guy, Dennis Prager. I know you like Dennis. You like Dennis Prager?
Don't know.
Don't know. He's out of L.A., and I went to L.A. to do my show there, and I was after my show.
Tell the truth around here, I've listened to you, him, and I listened to Ed Wallace.
Ed Wallace, yeah, I like Ed Wallace. And I left when I left the studios, my show was over. I go, oh, what's going on next? He said, well, Dennis Prager's on here after this. I'm like, he's in here? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, all of a sudden, I was like, I wish I would have known that before I started. But you got a great show.
I'm about to start this next segment. Hey guys, we're about to go watch Brian Glenn fly out of the chair when I say this.
Oh no!
Oh, you're about to fly.
Oh god!
I'm about to light you up like a candle.
Oh.
Can't wait to see this. Never really thought that I was gonna be a good guy. I survived way dance with this thinking it was good vibe. Right before the miracle happened, didn't give
Welcome back. That's our boy B Rain.
B Rain.
B Rain. He's wrote our opening song. He was in studio. Man, my man B Rain. We talked to him on the phone yesterday. Very good friend. No, he opened for Macklemore. So they were in studio a couple months ago. Very good friend of mine in recovery. Raps about recovery. And I'll send you some stuff.
I would love to hear it.
And when they come back in town, we'll have to get him on the phone in the studio with you. So you got B Rain, Rim One, DJ D Rock. We love you. We thank you for what you do. Michael Molthan, M2 The Rock Radio, along with Danny Campbell in studio, the official paparazzo of M2 The Rock Radio. He is awesome. And we got Fashion Stars for a Cause and DFW Coin and Jewelry. The Brian Glenn Show is in house. This show's produced.
And I want every
by
person you just mentioned, including Miles, on my show.
Let's do it.
Every one of them.
Let's do it. That's good stuff.
You know, Michael, I want to share something with Brian, and I've told you, this many times. I've been doing the show for, about a month and a half, 2 months? No, 2 months.
A little more than that.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, which I'm honored.
Gosh, yeah.
Miles is the producer for the Dallas Cowboys.
You thought he would have quit by now. So you say.
So he does all of Brad Sham and Babe Loffenberg. So he does all the games. He'll be at the game tomorrow.
What's amazing about this is every person I've met, and we're talking stories that I'm still, I can't wrap my head around. Everybody's the sweetest person.
We're so grateful.
Everybody. From Daniel Bueno, who's his story is intense. We're talking drug cartels. We're talking
human trafficking.
Homeless. We're talking human trafficking. We're talking people are really down and out. And I don't know if I could be that. I don't know if I could ever be that strong.
And the common denominator.
And B Rain is B Rain, Rim One, and B Rain is the sweetest guy. But the common denominator of all this is family.
Family.
Kids. They have something to live for.
Well, and let me help you out here. And that is the common denominator. That family and all that. That's a result. The common denominator of what you're feeling, Miles, what you're seeing, what you're hearing is the spiritual awakening. We call it born again. Reborn, accepting Jesus Christ as their higher power, and walking the walk. Walking the walk. It's not an effort. We walk the walk, and
being the father, they never had.
And the Bible is a very simple book for complicated people like me. It is. And speaking of the Bible, I want to share this, Miles. Not share this.
Is this when I'm going to come out of the scene?
This is what you're just going. This is going to blow you away.
You're ready for this?
All right. This is going to blow you away. All right. The hardest book. We got two youngsters right here in studio. The hardest book in the United States of America to get your hand on in the public school district.
Bears on Wheels.
Is the Bible. Is the Bible. To walk into the public school to have a Bible is the hardest book to get. Hold on, you ready? You ready to fly out of the chair? Okay, you ready? The very first book that was handed to me when I was incarcerated was the Bible. The very first book handed to me while incarcerated is the Bible. It's the easiest book. There's Bibles everywhere in the prisons. Everywhere.
So we wait till someone's broken and lost in a way that kind of makes sense. But when you love to start it in the school to prevent them from getting down that path.
But God just sits back and lets it. He goes,
y'all
go ahead. Y'all go ahead. If y'all want to play God, we'll let you do it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to get too jacked up right now. But there was a time when certain school districts did not want prayer before a football game.
Right.
They still
And
don't.
it still don't. And they take a few people that may complain that, oh, well, I don't want that going on during the game or before the game, to spoil the bunch. And I'm telling you, as Christians, I'm talking to you right now. You've got to stand up and put that shield of armor on. You've got to put that helmet on your head, protect that brain. You've got to put that shield across your heart, protect that heart, and take your sword. I know it's sounding very barbaric right now.
No, go.
But you have got to fight the demons out there that are trying to prevent Christians, people of faith, of moving forward in our society.
The book of Ephesians,
Period.
the full armor of God. The full armor of God is what we have to put on.
That's exactly what it is.
On a daily basis. And, Mama P and I had this conversation this morning, is that, the enemy's out there. And the more spiritual that the more spiritual I become, the more I see the enemy, the more I feel the enemy, all right? And we have to stay focused. We got to stay connected.
And it's really interesting. People think that, and we talked about this yesterday, that the devil comes in as this evil little horn tail thing, and which that exists. But the devil comes sometimes in the most sleek, sexy, most conniving ways to bring you in, and I think that's drugs. And
a syringe needle or a pill form, right?
Absolutely. You just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, praise Jesus. I've never done drugs. I don't know, but I can imagine it takes the form of that inside your body.
Speaking of that, we were talking about drugs yesterday, and Miles is like you. When Miles, we're perfect going back and forth, and so is Danny Campbell. He's never done it.
I'm an abuser for beer.
Yeah, so
I drink one beer, and then the second beer I might.
I blow these guys away, but he's trying to role play with me yesterday, going, so we drink a couple of beers, and then go take a bump, and I go, Miles, you don't take a bump. You don't take a bump. Okay, you go rip a rail, snort a gagger, all whatever.
Snort a gag. I gotta write that one down. Snort a gagger.
Snort. Siri, what is snort a gagger? I'm afraid she might answer that one. I don't want to put that one down. But you're absolutely right.
Right.
But thank goodness that we have not been exposed to that. Now I told you earlier before the show, I had a family member, had a sister, died not too long ago, and she had gotten caught up in drugs and stuff. So I saw what that does to a family.
It's devastating.
Back me off.
Yeah.
Back me off.
It's devastating, but here's the deal. God will he'll take a person like who's been on our show, and I can only talk about my own personal story. And as I look back now, I mean, God is saying, Satan's going, I got him, I got him, I got him, I got him, I got him. He's in jail. People are talking about him.
Yep.
I got him. Where's God now? He's telling all the world, where's God now? I got him, I got him, I got him, I got him. And you know what God does? It's nooks and crannies and turns and Brian Glenn and Brian Glenn's friend, and then there's Mama P and there's Papa P, and then there's Miles and there's Danny Campbell and all these nooks and cranny. And right now Satan's juking. He's like, God's up to something. And what's happening is he's using M2 to tell the whole world, I am God.
He's using iHeart.
He's using iHeart.
He's using this equipment. He's using microphone. He's using Dammy. He's using everybody
in this studio.
Everybody.
And we have two young kids that are hearing stuff maybe for the first time, or being re-stimulated by it, going, hey, I feel different now, and that's called spirit. Okay, it's not. We just feel different, and that's where God wants us to be. And that's the power of the Word and the Spirit.
Do you remember when God spoke to you first?
Yes.
I remember where I was at. I was probably about 8 years old. I was with my mom. We were walking, I can't tell you where. And I looked up at my mom and I said, God just told me he loves me and I'm special. And she looked at me and she said, okay. I don't know what she said, but I remember when he spoke, when God spoke to me.
Right.
And I think if people could just find that moment in their life and open up that frequency and let God speak to you,
right,
your life will change.
And it's different for everybody. For me, it took so much drama for me to slow it down and strip me down, because mine, and B. Rain has this in one of his songs, sitting in a jail cell on the top bunk. I met God in a jail cell sitting on the top bunk. that was me.
Okay, write that down. That's a lyric.
Well, that's what he says in his song. He says,
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's what he says. It's called On the Daily, Be Rain. He
Oh,
says,
okay.
you know, sitting in a jail cell. I met God in a jail cell sitting on the top bunk. Met the devil in a hotel, said he's going to wire us. Okay? And so that's his story, and it's so true because that's where I was at because that's when it happened. You know, people say, well, I haven't had my burning bush moment. Everybody's awakening is different, okay?
Different.
Mine was dramatic, wild, crazy, whatever you want to call it. It was a burning bush moment, and I didn't set the bush on fire. You know, it was actually a God deal.
But now you can relate to people.
I can get it now.
You can get it. You can
I get
actually understand people. We
I get it.
talked about all kinds of addictions yesterday, and you're like, I can understand that. I can understand that. I can understand that. There it is right there.
Here we go. Here it comes right here.
I met God in a jail cell, said he got the top bunk. I met the devil in a hotel, said he wondered why us. I was always reaching for the coattails, that's how I got locked up. Now they see me living life so well, they ain't never stop us. Some people
I knew that bass was
Isn't
good.
that cool?
I just knew it.
Isn't that cool?
It's a great song.
Yeah, and when he wrote that song, he was locked up in jail, and his father overdosed on heroin, and he lost his dad while incarcerated. And B. Rain's been sober for 12 years now.
Well, and how many stories have I've heard in the past couple months? The same story of they lost loved ones while they were incarcerated.
I saw it happen. I saw it happen many times while I was locked up. And these guys, I saw a guy when I was actually down in Waco. His mom died, and he was devastated.
And they
So,
said, you're locked up.
Brian Glenn,
Is this it?
thank you so much.
No, let's
Yeah.
keep going. No. Keep it going. Don't cut. No, this is unbelievable.
Will you please come back on? We just got to keep
where's
this
my
going.
calendar?
I
Here,
mean,
book
we've
it.
got people in the comments saying you two guys rock. So this is
Well-
good stuff, and you've taken this to a whole new level. You are very gifted. You are
Right.
extremely gifted, very passionate. I got 3 words. I got 8 letters. Michael Molthan, Into the Rock Radio. I love you. We out. Right, Brian Glenn.
That's a great show.
That was fun.
That's a great show.
Isn't that fun?
Let me tell you something, man. You got something special here because you're connecting with people on a different level.
It is.
I'm telling you right now.
It's fun, and what's so great about it, and I mean, people are still cranked up, and you know what's neat about this is after every single show with a guest, all right, this is what I always do, is that during the show for 1 hour, we've been on the show for 1 hour, all right, and this goes for you too, okay, for 1 hour, were you once thinking about yesterday and feeling guilty or shameful?
No.
Okay.
No.
Were you once thinking about tomorrow feeling fearful or anxious?
Mm-mm.
And the reason why is because we were for 1 hour, we were right here, right now, and out of self. The safest place in the world because that's where God's at.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're living right here, right now, and out of self, helping others, it's the safest place in the world because that's where God wants us to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Satan wants us to be thinking about tomorrow and
Yeah.
thinking about yesterday.
Yeah, he wants you to worry about the future. He wants you to have regret.
Because when I'm
remorse.
worrying, I'm telling God he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
When I'm worrying, I'm telling God, you don't know
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're saying, you know what? I don't think you're in control, so I'm worried about my future.
You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
And
And also, we haven't really talked about tithing a whole lot. But
Oh, yeah.
money, the love of money, is probably one of the most evil things that I think exists. Because I think people get caught up.
That's Satan.
That it is Satan, and I think that I think businesses that what I'm getting to, businesses that support you in this show will be blessed. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
No doubt about
I
it.
appreciate it. That's good stuff. So, everybody, Brian Glenn, we're going to put the link to
Oh,
his
my
page.
goodness.
Thank y'all for all the great words.
Yes, thank you.
Brian Glenn, we're going to put the link in the comments. Go like his page. Start following this dude. We're going to put his Instagram.
Instagram's fun.
His Instagram, he's a beast on Instagram.
Well, no, it's my favorite because it's just about food, cars, travel, all that good stuff. And if you like sports, I go out to Texas Live. I do all the pre.
Oh, yeah, the Texas
all
Live.
all the pre Cowboy games, everything
Hey,
over
Danny,
there.
come here real quick, because Yvonne Crumb's watching. Come say hi to Yvonne Crumb.
Yvonne Crum. Yes, Brian, I want you back. You got, oh, Yvonne, thank you
Check
very
it out.
much.
Hey, Yvonne, how you
That way
doing?
she can see all three of her boys.
There you
Look
go.
at that.
This is
Look
the
at that.
Yvonne
Hey,
Crumb
Yvonne,
team right here.
We're live. How you doing, Yvonne?
Thank you, Yvonne.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving
Eat
to
lots
everyone.
of turkey,
That's right. That's right.
but don't be a turkey.
Y'all have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, Carter.
Yeah, absolutely.